Oh, sugar honey iced tea. It's the EAC Show.
Good day, ladies and gents. I'm Emilio A. Colon, and welcome to the EAC Show, coming to you from sunny South Florida. I'm joined by the big one, UCF activist, overall sports enthusiast, Cameron Denning. Cameron, what's going on, man?
How we doing? Another day in paradise.
Yeah, right. Still under quarantine, doing the social distance stuff. Marcus Smack is going to join us. He's running a little bit behind, but he's going to join us on episode 22. A lot of stuff to talk about on episode 22. We're making the most of it during these times. Still going through, watching what we're watching, reruns, and trying to find as much sports as possible and devouring what we can. There's a couple of things we have to go over. Obviously, today is Wednesday, so we're going to be doing our EAC headlines. Also, what we're going to be tackling in the first segment, Cameron, is what a lot of people like. They like the over-unders that we did. So we're going to
good. Yeah, we're going to get some more teams involved.
Yeah, we're going to touch NFL over-unders. Just pretty much doing a lot of stuff, Cam. You know what I actually did today? It's crazy. I actually tried to use my kids as workouts.
What do you mean? Like you were bench pressing them?
No, so I took Enasia and I put her over my shoulders and I did some squats. So
that's good. You gotta get creative.
Gotta get creative, man. So I put her on my shoulders. I mean, I really couldn't do too many, but I did a few just to get something in. Went outside with the kids for a little bit, played around, did some sweating. So it was nice. We're trying to make it happen. That's all.
It was bringing me back to the days of ingenuity when you had to just make something happen. Luckily, right now I'm pretty set up with some weights at home, and I got a jump rope and a little dumbbell situation going on here. But I remember back in college when we were stuck inside for the hurricane, we were doing grabbing cartons of milk and cases of water bottles and working out with those. You just got to get it in however you can.
Dude, there's a follower on our Instagram. His name is David DiCaprio, and his Instagram name is hardwork66. David actually went to Home Depot and got like Home Depot buckets, a thing of cement, wood, a bar, and he literally made like a bench with the weights, and he literally made like 25-pound weights with cement inside of these buckets, cut them, put them on, like he at home gym, $200.
Wow, that's all it took him, just obviously in time and effort. I mean,
all it took him.
Respect on that, and it was probably a workout just building the damn things. So good for him, man. He's got more ambition than most people do right now.
He's not gonna let him stop. His IG name is hardwork66, and he's 100% all that straight gym in his house. He wasn't gonna be affected by this, not one bit.
Respect. Shout out Dave
DiCaprio.
Shout out Dave.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Cam, I know we were gonna just go back and forth a little bit. I know you saw that finally that ESPN did move up that Bulls series. Is going to be April 19th.
Oh, the Michael Jordan special?
Yeah, the Michael Jordan special, the 10-part. Thank God they did that, because waiting to June would be ridiculous.
Yeah, you know what? I really like we talked about on Monday's show, whatever we can find to talk about right now in sports or watch in our downtime. I ended up watching today for an hour and a half the Belichick-Saban HBO special, The Art of Coaching.
Yeah.
Have you had a chance to see that?
Yeah, just briefly, not too much of it, but just briefly.
I mean, good stuff. I mean, a lot of it seemed a little forced. They talk once a year. They get together after every season. They have been doing it for a long time. They come from the same coaching tree, if you will. Belichick hired Saban in Cleveland, so it was nice to see the whole backstory of it, and how much respect they have for each other. But talk about two of the greatest coaching minds going up against each other, talking, and it was cool to watch. But we're dying for something sports.
Agreed. Agreed, without question. Now, last episode we were talking a little bit about it, but it came out today that completely the main event for UFC 249, Dana White has been trying to do his best to put this main event together. And Khabib came out today and said, look, you know what? It is what it is. I can't fight. I'm going to stay in quarantine. Doesn't make any sense. The whole world, countries, companies are all shutting down. Why does Khabib have to fight? So he's not going to be part of the main event, 249. How you feel about that, Cam?
Good for him. I mean, obviously it's sad. We wanted to watch the fight. We talked about last show, Tony Ferguson versus Khabib. You would hate to see the champion bow out. You'd much rather see the contender get replaced by somebody else. But, it is nice to see people are taking care of themselves all across the world. Dana White, he's been the guy that's been able to put sports on despite the coronavirus outbreak. So this is something that he probably didn't think he was going to have to run into, is that an actual one of his fighters was going to bow out. He always thought it was going to be something from, higher or above him. So it's just interesting to see what his response is going to be and how he's going to set up a fight.
I just find it really weird that less than 10 days ago, Khabib's stance wasn't what it was right now. Like, Khabib's stance was he wanted to fight before he couldn't fight because Ramadan comes up soon and he needed a certain amount of time to heal from that. So he wanted to get this fight in before Ramadan. And now it's just like, nah, I'm not coming out of Russia. Like, it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, and something of this catastrophe right now we're dealing with. In many years we'll look back at this as a historical event. It just doesn't feel like that right now. It just feels like we got to stay inside for a couple of weeks. But, you have to take all precautions, and just something like you said, less than 10 days, that can change, over the course, of that time span, his attitude on whether he wants to go forward and put himself at risk.
Yeah, I mean, it's really crazy because I didn't know what to believe today because obviously on social media and all type of stuff, I really didn't know what was real and what wasn't. So I wasn't 100% sure because I was seeing some articles that were sitting there saying, oh, well, Russia's going to allow private planes to fly out. But I didn't know whether it was a joke or whether it's serious because of April Fools. So I just wanted to basically wait, and I'm glad that we did wait because Khabib ended up saying that there's no chance he's fighting in the main event.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, you got to be careful on the April Fools jokes. That's today. Obviously, you're going to be listening to this episode on April 2nd. But I was going to hit you with an NFL is returning this year early joke, but I don't see many clothes with that. You weren't going to get caught slipping.
Nah, don't do that to me. That's not good, man. Don't do that to me. I need the NFL right now. But, we're still looking forward to seeing Khabib fight sometimes, hopefully in the near future. He's an amazing fighter. Unfortunately, he won't be able to fight at 249. Tony Ferguson would be the main name on that card. I think they're going to fight in United Arab Emirates, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll see how Dana White ends up pulling that off because he's headstrong that no matter what, the fight's still going to go on.
Right. He'll probably put something out, but it might not be as great of a product as the original bout.
Anything right now, right?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's something. But hopefully Khabib will come back. I'd love to see him have a rematch with Conor McGregor. That's just good theater, those two guys. So hopefully that'll come back soon, and hopefully we can get going as a whole here.
I don't disagree with you, not one bit. Now, Cam, are you ready to go into our EAC over-unders?
Yeah, let's do that. We got 5 teams we're gonna pick here.
Yeah, I thought you were picking them.
Yes, I'm picking them, but that's what we're doing, right? We're grabbing another 5 teams.
Yeah, we're grabbing another 5 teams. A lot of people like the NFL over-unders that we selected, so let's do it again. We're gonna pick another 5 teams, and we're probably gonna add another 5 teams on Friday as well, so we can stretch this out a little bit. Give us 5 teams, Cam, that you want to talk about on these over-unders for the regular season.
A couple teams I'm interested in. I want to see about the Kansas City Chiefs coming off of their Super Bowl victory. And, we don't know these schedules at the top of our heads. So some of them can have tough schedules. Usually the defending champion does have a tough schedule, but I want to see what their over-under looks like. I'd like to see what the Arizona Cardinals looks like, their outlook of the season, just with their quarterback, Kyler Murray, coming into his second year, the offseason moves they make to acquire DeAndre Hopkins. Another team, let's talk about the Las Vegas Raiders.
That's weird saying that. That's even weird saying that.
I stuttered a little bit there if you caught it, but that's another reason why this is the first year that they're going to be under the Las Vegas tag. So let's see what they have cooking for their regular season predictions. Let's talk about the Miami Dolphins. I'm curious in just because of what they're going to do at quarterback. It might not sound appealing, but I like their head coach coming into his second year. See what he can do. And let's talk about the New Orleans Saints.
Okay, so the first one that you got the Kansas City Chiefs, defending champions, and he's not the MVP right now. He was the MVP the year before, Patrick Mahomes. Their over-under is 11.5. Cam, I'm going to tell you what I think. Under.
You think they're going to take a step back here? I mean, they only won, 12, 13 games this year?
Yeah, but
right.
I just think that they're really good, but they're going to have some bump in the roads because it's always difficult for the defending champs the next year. Sophomore slumps always have a tendency of creeping their heads in. So I don't necessarily think they get over 11 wins in this case.
Yeah, this will be Patrick Mahomes' third year, I believe. Let's see what happens here. I think I'm going to be optimistic. I'm going to say over. Again, we don't know what the schedules look like here. The Chiefs did win 12 or 13 games this past year. Patrick Mahomes was out for, I believe, 2 or 3 of those games. So they're still very good. There's obviously going to be a target on their back. So people are going to be gunning for them. They already did last year. And I think they respond well. I think they're going to come back and have a stronger defense this next year. But I do think the secret's out a little bit on them, but I do think they have enough in the tank to score or to get 12 wins.
So just for the record, I have them going under, you have them going over, and we're talking about the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes-led Kansas City Chiefs. So the second team that you mentioned is going to be the Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals are over under 7 games.
7 flat?
7 flat. There's no half. 7 flat.
Wow.
They did add, probably one of the best wide receivers in the league in DeAndre Hopkins. They signed Kendrick Drake. He signed his tender. You got Larry Fitzgerald for another year. You got a couple other wide receivers that are pretty good. Kyler Murray's going to get better in his second year. The question is the defensive side of the ball going to be able to keep the score down? And that's my question, and I think under on this one as well.
So this is 7 flat. This is pretty interesting because they are also in a tough division. They have Seattle, the Rams. So I'd have to take a look at their schedule as well. But I like everything. You could be optimistic as much as you want on their offense. With Kyler Murray, they got a great young head coach, offensive mind, in Cliff Kingsbury. So that's really been the issue with them is their defense not allowing their offense to stay in the game. So that'll be interesting to see this year what happens. But I think they're just going to try to outscore everybody because I think their offense is going to click. I like Christian Kirk a lot. They have a couple nice pair of tight ends. So myself, I think it's going to teeter around that number 7, but I'm going to be optimistic. I'm going to go over.
Now, the third one was the Las Vegas Raiders was your third choice, correct?
Yes.
So the Las Vegas Raiders, and it's still weird to this day saying that name. They have such a beautiful stadium, so it looks like a damn spacecraft.
I know. It's pretty amazing how that's coming together. It's definitely a bucket list place to go to.
Oh, it's nutty. It's nutty. So the Las Vegas Raiders, led by Derek Carr and their head coach is John Gruden, they're at over under 7.5.
7.5.
I'm going to go over.
I'm
going to go over because of the faith that I have in Gruden and improving that team now that he's there for his third year with the squad.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair. Their division, they're in the Chiefs division, but they also have the Chargers, who I think are going to have a down year. Denver's always a team that's sort of just whatever in the air. I think they're going to have a nice. I like Drew Lock for Denver. I know I'm changing topics here, but as far as the division standpoint goes, I know I'm going over on all these, and I should say under, but I'm going to go over on this one just because I love their running back, Josh Jacobs. I love the formula.
Straight animal.
He's an animal. He kind of reminds me of Brandon Jacobs for the New York Giants. Just a big bruiser, downhill runner. So I like what I see out of them. I think they have enough to go over 7 wins. It's just going to be can he bring all the pieces together. They have a little here, a little there, a little there. So it's his third year coaching or second year, the Raider, John Gruden.
Third.
Third year in a row. I think this one does the trick. I think he can push them over the hump.
Hold on 1 second. I'm sorry. Okay, so the next team. Sorry, I was getting a text message from Marcus Mack. He's trying to join the chat. The next team is the Miami Dolphins, and the Miami Dolphins are over under 6.5. And I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna say I like them over for a multitude of reasons. Number one, I'm a huge fan of Fitzmagic. Fitzmagic could give you 4 wins automatically with his gunslinging ways.
Correct.
And then number 2 is because of their coach. Their coach, hands down, should have been in the running for Coach of the Year, even though he won a limited amount of games, just because he did it with kids that you pick up from the YMCA or your local gym.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think they went like 4-2 or 5-2 their last 7 games, something like that. You could tell there's a mentality shift there under the new head coach, Brian Flores, who is the defensive coordinator for the New England Patriots. I think they obviously have a better year than last year. I know that's not saying a lot, and I have them as one of the teams to potentially go after a guy like Tua Tagovailoa from Alabama. So this might just be another bridge year for them. But simply just speaking off their coach, like you said, I have them over 6.5 wins also in a division that's not being strangleheld by Tom Brady and the Patriots any longer.
Yeah, I mean, I really want my team to flourish in that division. I want my team to come in first place in that division, New York Jets. I want the Buffalo Bills to struggle a little bit. I want their run. Awesome. I want Allen to go through a difficult period. Maybe he has a bad year. You know, their defense is really good defense, but I want them to go through a bad year. So I really want to see the Jets and the Dolphins perform, so that way it could be better, because it's not as appealing in that division if it's Jets Bills. It's appealing if it's Patriots Jets, if it's Dolphins Jets. It's not appealing if it's Bills and one of them, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Jets and the Bills have a higher outlook than the Patriots do this year. So I think the Patriots and the Dolphins are actually going to fight for that third spot, to be honest. But that's an interesting division this year, not only because Brady's out, but because I think Sam Darnold's finally going to have a year, and I think the Bills have just been the last 2 or 3 years slowly climbing the top of consistent play. So we'll see how that goes this year.
Cam, I know we were supposed to do – we got ahead of ourselves. We only were supposed to do 2 and then get to the promo. So let me just get to the promo real quick. This part of the show is brought to you by ElCubanoSandwichShop.com. Use the promo code EAC and receive discounts on online pickups or delivery orders. Enjoy a cafe con leche or a natural pre-workout shot of that Cuban coffee to start your day. The daily lunch specials and their steak sandwich is next level. Once again, use the promo code EAC. That's ElCubanoSandwichShop.com or 954-906-5110. Remember, use the promo code EAC. That's El Cubano Sandwich Shop in Coral Springs. And they're still open throughout this whole quarantine situation. Delivery, curbside pickup, all that good stuff. So the last – huh?
Respect to them. Yeah, and if anyone wants to – we're talking about these regular season – over-unders for these teams right now. If anyone, doesn't have a site or anything like that, wants to get in on the action, I'm doing a free plug here. You can use, sites like Bovada and, FanDuel, things like that, DraftKings you're able to bet on. So, get in on the action early before the year starts with some of these.
Absolutely. And the last over-under that we have for EAC over-unders is going to be the New Orleans Saints. And I'm checking it right now, and the New Orleans Saints over-under was 10.5.
That feels right. That feels about right. They're always sitting around that number, 10, 11 wins. They're just such a consistently good team, and they're always, that's why they're always an interesting team. That's why that was one of the teams I picked, just because all the dynamics around their offense. Drew Brees, I learned last show that they got Emmanuel Sanders. So now the fact that they have Michael Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders, Traquan Smith, They have Latavius Murray, Alvin Kamara. Like, I mean, I think they're just loaded up. Taysom Hill still is running ruckshot around the field. Their defense is getting better from 2 years ago. So I think they go over here. That's just a safe thing to say with me. The Dome is one of the hardest places to play in the league. I had the pleasure of going last year for a game. So I think the over on that, and I just think I want to see Drew go out on top with a win.
I'm going to sit there and say under, and the reason why I'm going to say under is because wait, did I make a choice of over? I didn't even make a choice on over under on the Dolphins. Did I say over or under?
You said over. Okay,
I'm sorry. Thank you. I didn't remember. I'm going to say under on the Saints. And the reason why I'm going to say under on the Saints is because of Thomas Brady. I just think that Thomas Brady and, the wins that the Saints normally get against Tampa Bay or against Atlanta isn't necessarily going to happen this year. It's going to be a lot harder. So even if you take what were they last year that just passed? What was their record?
12-4.
If you take the two wins against Tampa Bay away, they're 10-6.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's another good point. The Brady factor. We'll see if that has anything to do with it. So that's going to be such an exciting division to watch.
I think they win, in my opinion. I think they win the game against Carolina in New Orleans easily. Maybe they don't win the game in Carolina because, playing on the road is much tougher than playing at home.
Right.
The two games against, Tampa Bay, that's definitely a toss-up. And then you got the two games against Atlanta. Atlanta's always tough at home. Atlanta could take an L on the road, but Atlanta's always tough at home.
Yeah, they're just one of those scrappy teams that will lose the games. They're like Tennessee of old, where they lose games they're not supposed to, and they win games they're not supposed to, kind of thing. You just never know what you're going to get out of Atlanta on a given Sunday. So another fun dynamic to watch in that division.
Yeah. So with our EAC over/unders, we've already done 10 teams. We still got a bunch of teams left. We'll save those for other episodes. And now what we're going to get into is we're going to get into EAC Headlines because EAC Headlines is our Wednesday segment. And our first headline, if I'm not mistaken, Cam, 1 second. I think it was about – I had it up, too, with Marcus texting me about trying to get in.
Here, while you're looking for those, I'll start with this. This can be like a makeshift headline. Do you know, Emilio, what the Bellina Cup is?
The Bellina Cup? What is the Bellina Cup?
Ballina, the Bellina Cup. I'm looking on our site right now, a betting site, and it says Bellina Cup. And I clicked on it, and there's a bunch of celebrities' names. So I looked on Google what the Bellina Cup is. Tonight it starts, the Bellina Cup. It's put together by Post Malone with a host of other celebrities. And it's pretty much a virtual beer pong competition. Over the next 8 days, there's going to be 2 matchups every night. I think it starts at 10 p.m. tonight. And there's a buy-in for each team.
Hey, listen, during these times, you got to get creative. Shout out to Rob and Shawnee Budo. We know the Budos personally. They did a drive-by birthday party for their 1-year-old.
Really?
They had people drive by their house and honk their horn saying happy birthday to their 1-year-old. So during these times, you got to get creative, man.
You have to, yeah. And some of the names that are going to be in this competition, Danny Amendola, Rob Gronkowski and his girlfriend, Travis Kelce, Johnny Manziel is in this.
Because just people are at home getting drunk and they just trying to make something out of it.
Yeah, and the money goes to the coronavirus cases.
All right, man. That's a plus, man. That's a plus. And once again, shout out to all the first responders, all of the people on the front lines, nurses, the doctors, everybody that's in the medical field that's helping out. We appreciate everything you're doing during this rough time because it's not easy for them. They have to go to work every day. Every day they have to go to work.
Right. So maybe hopefully something like this will help. Hopefully Machine Gun Kelly can win some people some money tonight at plus 1,200 for this competition. Marcus Stroman coming in at the same plus 1,200. Johnny Manziel plus 1,100.
I guarantee you the money that we bet on that isn't going to coronavirus.
No. Those are going in my pockets.
Yeah, I know, right? So we got the EAC headline. The first EAC headline, Cam, is going to be Tua Tagovailoa saying he's 100% ready to play as a rookie.
It's nice. I think that's nice of him to say. I'm going to be a little sadistic here. I think it's just a ploy for him to get more money in the draft. I think if he comes out before the draft and says, hey, yeah, I'm ready to play this year, I'm all healthy, and sort of speeds that process up, then he gets drafted higher because people aren't concerned about his injury anymore, and he gets more money for a higher draft pick. I think it's safe to say that he'll be sitting this year wherever he is because it's the safe play. It's the safe long-term play.
I mean, wouldn't you do the same exact thing?
Of course. Obviously, it's the smart play, not only financially, but, just overall of where his camp wants to be. They're going to make money regardless. I think at the end of the day, they're going to do the best thing for his health. But it's nice to hear that he's ready to go regardless, even if, he gets to play, he plays.
I'm happy for the kid. I want the kid to succeed. I want him to do well. He seems like he's a good kid. He won national championship in Alabama, and he deserved better in his final year before getting hurt from him leaving Alabama. But he's a good kid. I think whoever picks him is going to get a really strong character type guy off the field and a grinder on the field who can perform at the highest level, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's the kind of guy from Saban program is that disciplined style. So they'll get a good kid, exactly.
I personally hope he ends up with the Chargers.
I could see him. He looked good in powder blue, for sure.
Yeah, and then be closer to home, too, because he's from Hawaii. Marcus, you made it. You're with us, buddy. What's going on, man?
Hey, guys. Cam, Emilio, how you doing? How's everybody?
Hey, we thought you weren't going to make it, man. You actually made it today.
I know. No, I'm definitely here. I'm sorry I missed the last episode.
It's okay. So for everybody, it's a first for everybody. It happens. I'm the only one that hasn't missed. Just for the record, I haven't missed one episode yet. I can't wait. I cannot wait until you guys have to do this show without me.
I would love it. Yeah, I love it. It's a new challenge. But what were you doing, Marcus? Working out, doing some.
No. You know what? I was at my laptop. I was at my office. I had my laptop, and I realized I didn't have my charger. So I had to go back to the house to go get my charger and come back. Because if I would have been on the call with you guys, the computer would just shut off. And that would have been.
She's got 2 houses, 6 phones, 2 chargers.
Marcus Mack is a busy man. He's a busy man. But not for nothing. I'm going to be honest with you. I know that the day you guys have to do a show without me is going to be the Sugar Honey Iced Tea show without question. It is going to be a Sugar Honey Iced Tea storm.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun, though. I'm excited.
So you guys been keeping it sanitized, man?
We've been trying.
Dude, you been trying?
Come on, dude. You see this right here?
I got my shit right here.
What you got? He got the homemade. What you got? The homemade joint?
Yeah. What is that?
What did you do? You did alcohol. You did alcohol, aloe, and it sent.
This is alcohol.
Rubbing alcohol.
Alcohol. Lysol and aloe.
You know what? Yo, don't be making no rum punch sanitizer, man.
Bro, listen. It smells so good. It's, what I mean, like it's the best.
Like, have you ever seen the movie My Big Fat Greek Wedding?
Yeah, of course.
The father of the bride, how he had the bottle of Windex and he would just spray it on everything. You get a cut, he sprays Windex on it. He just does that. He's walking around.
See, Marcus Mack, this is the element of the show that you bring, man. Seriously, this is the element part of the show that you bring. Now, Marcus, I know we wanted to get into headlines number 2. I just wanted to make sure that you had it. So we're going to talk about Jadeveon Clowney. So headline number 2. Go ahead, read it to us, Marcus.
Him lowering his asking price. Saints war room.
Oh, we'll get to that. Let's just speak on Clowney and then we'll get to the next one.
What headline are we on right now? We on
Clowney.
Clowney.
All right.
Clowney going back on everything that he was originally saying. He thought he was valuing himself at a certain number for his time playing at this age, and he's an injury prone guy, and I thought was a great offer he got from Miami Dolphins on what is a new team for where he's at, Emilio. I mean, I see you're shaking your head, but I mean, this guy, I don't think he's going to get as much as he's asking for. Obviously, that's why he's bumped his price down.
$17 million in the state of Florida is the same as $20 million in almost any other state.
You were agreeing.
I was like, if you're going to take $17 million, if the Miami Dolphins offered him $17 million, Marcus Mack and Cameron, there's no state income tax in Florida. None.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Isn't there like a tax break in the state of Florida?
There's no state income tax. He can go to any other state other than Texas, Tennessee. I think there's a few others that have no state income tax, maybe. But everywhere else, he's going to get taxed upon. So even if you're making 20, you're not bringing home 20.
Right. Yeah, and this is I think his 6th year in the league. He's already been out multiple times with injuries. He's already been traveling to different teams. People don't want to pay a high price for not a damaged good, but a good that isn't, at its peak right now. And what did he get? 2 years for $17 million in Miami? The deal was it 2 years?
I don't know. I don't know what the exact contract details were, but the simple fact that they offered him anything close to that, and his representative, mind you, his representatives, they're supposed to do their job. They're supposed to get their client their most money. Marcus Mack, if you represented us on the show and somebody wanted to come take our show, I would expect you to literally like selling us to the highest bidder without question.
Yeah, you have to.
I understand that part.
Overbid.
Yeah, I think they set his number too high, and now he has to come back down to it. So if you really think about it, that helps teams that are really negotiating, sitting and saying, "Oh, so now you want to take 17? So now we're going to offer you 50."
I mean, listen, we're almost 2 weeks in free agency for the NFL, and if he's making a move like this, lowering his asking price, that means his agent's not getting too many phone calls with where his priorities and predictions were set at monetarily. So, it's about time that he starts, getting realistic about some of the deals that are offered to him.
Agreed. Marcus Mack, like I just said earlier, prime example. If you're going off and you're trying to sell our show to somebody and you have a set number that you give the person that's interested in, taking on our show, if you go to them and you set the bar too high and then you go back to them and say, "Oh, well, you know what, we'll take 17 out." What do you think their reaction is going to be? I mean,
you get what you negotiate. So, I mean, if he set it too high and then there was a break in the negotiation and they see some kind of leverage, of course they're going to say, "Oh, okay, so now we're going to underbid you." Of course.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think Clowney shot himself in the foot. It's tough because I'm pretty sure his representatives are doing an amazing job. I hope he gets the deal he wants, because I'm always for players getting paid because these owners make so much more money than the players do. I hope he ends up getting a number that he's satisfied with. I don't know. Do you think Miami goes back to him and gives him the $17 million and he ends up coming here?
If they do, they're punks. I don't think they should. If they turn down his offer, I mean, they just had an issue with players not wanting to be there, and how their own air management and their ownership came out and said, "If you don't want to be here, then we don't want you here." So if they're giving what they think is a generous offer to Jadeveon Clowney right now, and he turns it down saying it's not enough, that clearly means he doesn't want to be there for the price that they offered. So I don't think they go in at that same number. I don't think that they would be – I mean, they'd be some punks if they did. I think they go down to a lower price.
I mentioned it multiple times the last time we talked about this topic. How do you turn down $17 million with the amount of women that there is in the state of Florida?
Yeah, I mean, that's another thing. Even on top of there being no state income tax, this isn't Jacksonville. Come down to Miami, Florida, man. Like, what are you doing? Like,
the women.
I don't get it, dude. Like, that's what every time during the offseason for basketball with the Miami Heat, like, I know we're
$17 million, sunny weather, and the women.
The women. I didn't know. Forget everything else. The women.
Yeah, it's the most tropical place in the continental USA. Like, you're going to be in good hands. Like, the weather's not – like, all that, everything that you mentioned. I mean, I know we're in a good spot during the offseason for basketball, but some of these football players, I don't understand how, some of them aren't itching to get down to South Florida. I mean,
Clowney, I hope you get your money. I hope everything goes out good, but turn down $17 million in Miami. I don't understand that one.
And that's, Marcus, and that's for how long? That $17 million is for how long?
I think it was 2 years.
Cam said it was for 2 years. I'm not 100% sure how long it was for, but I didn't get into the contract details. I didn't read it. Marcus Mack, we got our next subject on EAC Headlines, the third one.
That is Saints War Room being held at a brewery.
This is a really funny story. Shout out to the Saints.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just want you guys to know I am reading these headlines that I just got back to the office, so these are just as surprising to me as they are to you.
So this is a really funny story. The owners of the New Orleans Saints, it was Mr. Benson and his wife. Mr. Benson passed away. His wife is now in control of the Saints. They also own a brewery. The brewery is closed. It's not open to the public. So because all of the NFL facilities being shut down by the NFL, obviously those teams can't go to those facilities to do their draft stuff. So they're getting creative, and they're literally going to allow the brewery to be open, just the Saints staff, so they can do their draft stuff from that place specifically.
Oh man, I mean, how cool is it for the bartenders and everything working there to be able to be inside of like potentially a draft room and to see how that works firsthand? I think that's a cool, fun idea that I would imagine a lot of teams are going to adapt and adopt.
Cam, we are literally going to have beer and football when they're selecting these picks. People are going to be drunk selecting these picks.
Yeah, hey, whatever. Yeah, sugar honey iced tea it. Let's draft that punt returner.
That's beautiful. Yo, let me get a double. Let me get a double and give me the kicker from Wyoming.
That's a great concept, man. I mean, that's going to be fun to see. I mean, when you think about it, it's sports. I mean, so if you can trust yourself to do the job with a couple beers, I mean, that's going to be a fun atmosphere for those guys.
Cam, Marcus Mack, could you imagine, right? I don't know how many picks they have in the draft, but let's say they go down to that last pick, which is usually like in the 7th or 9th, 8th round, whatever it is, right? Whatever round it is. Could you imagine them playing a drinking game, and saying, okay, whoever wins the drinking game gets the last pick?
Yeah. Whoever drinks the most beers gets the last pick, Mr. Irrelevant pick.
Drinking and playing darts. Darts at the brewery, and they're playing darts, and the winner of darts gets the last pick, and he chooses a guy from Southern Illinois or something like that.
Something the mass public will never know.
Do you know what brewery that is?
Do I know the name of it?
Yeah.
Oh man, you hold on 1 second. I can pull it up. I do because I was reading the article. I was reading the article earlier, and that's how I know that it's owned by the owners of the Saints.
Okay.
The name of the brewery is Dixie Brewing Company.
Dixie Brewing Company.
Yeah,
okay.
And it's owned by Gail Benson, who's the owner of the Saints as well. So that's how they're able to pull it off and get creative, because she owns the place, and even though it's not an NFL facility, she's like, we're going to do it from here. And they're talking about staying there the whole time.
Yeah, make it a party. Invite the wives.
They're talking about staying there the whole time.
Yeah, and I did find out, by the way, that Clowney's deal was for 1 year. It was 1 year, $17 million. And
that makes it a little bit more understandable, because 1 year, $17 million. You only get to enjoy the women in Miami for maybe like 6-7 months. So
true, but doing 1 year's service in a place like Miami to get that much money, maybe he wants a long contract. Maybe he wants someone to be loyal to him, and for him to grow somewhere. But come on, man, $17 million, no state income tax, 1 year in South Florida. Come take a vacation for a year. I mean, that's amazing why he would turn that down.
So shout out to the Saints for getting creative and trying to figure out this whole, quarantine situation with this whole NFL draft. I wonder what Jerry Jones is going to pull out of his hat. What would if the Saints are doing it at a brewery, what Jerry Jones is going to do it at? Where is he going to do it?
He's going to do it at Cabaret Rick's.
Strip club.
Priceless. So, Marcus Mack, let's get into the next EAC headlines.
We got Olympics being moved to 2021, July 2021.
This is a very, very touchy subject, because Olympic athletes from all countries throughout the world, even the ones that don't, because there's Olympic athletes that don't represent a specific country, and they represent the Olympic flag.
You guys still there?
4 years to get to this level.
We kind of froze just now. Bring it back.
Okay, so it's an extremely difficult subject here with the Olympics being pushed back, even for athletes that represent their countries and athletes that don't represent their countries and they represent it through the Olympic flag. Because there's some athletes that, you know, they're independent or whatever it may be, but they're still athletes and they represent the Olympic flag at the Olympics. Training for 4 years and not being able to perform is extremely difficult.
I think that's one of like the main points. They spent the last 4 years training for this point here. And I think it's really
we get a Super Bowl every year.
Yeah,
we get a Super Bowl. We get a Super Bowl every year. You get a World Series every year. You get an NBA Finals every year. You know, Olympics only come around once every 4 years. You know,
right? We only get one opportunity every 4 years to see the canoeing championship. So it is, you know, all those obscure sports that you love to watch during the Olympics. It's upsetting not being able to watch that.
I mean, the fastest 10 seconds in the world is ran every 4 years. You know, who's the fastest man in the world, you know?
Right.
And right now, these guys have been training nonstop to prove who the fastest man in the world, considering the fact that Usain Bolt isn't doing it anymore. Right. Now they got to wait another year now.
It's going to be interesting to see what these athletes do to prepare for another year of training. These athletes, like Marcus said, work off a 4 year span. That's when they're expected to perform next in their line of work. So they treat their bodies like a piece of machine. And 1 year they do this, second year they do this. So it
becomes like a routine.
Right.
Yeah, and to the average person, you would think, well, that gives you an extra year to train, and it's like, no.
Yeah, right.
It also gives you an extra year to get hurt. Exactly. It also gives you an extra year to get out of shape, because right now a lot of these athletes can't train because they're in quarantine.
Right. Correct. Yeah. So it's not just, you get another year to prepare it. It's not that simple. So this will be interesting to see. We haven't, not only did the Olympics get postponed, but I'm sort of changing topics here, but I just found out today that the Wimbledon gets canceled this year. This is the first time since World War II that there's not going to be a Wimbledon. We were talking last week about tennis being able to be played. So
I thought tennis was going to be played because of the distance. Like,
sad, man. It's sad. It's a damn shame. I love watching tennis.
I'm a tennis fanatic. Dude, I have Roger Federer hats. Like, I'm a nut when it comes to this stuff. I wake up when the Australian Open, and my wife will tell you this. She tells me I'm crazy. I wake up at like 2, 3 in the morning to watch Kyrgios and Nadal and Federer and Djokovic and Serena and Bianca, and I'm a nut.
I know. I love it. And I remember, I love tennis because it's also a fun sport to bet on.
I bet on tennis, dude. I bet on the spread, the over-under, who wins the first set.
Definitely established that Emilio bets on probably everything.
Dude, it's such a low-key sport. I remember in college coming home drunk from the bar when I was working at the college bar. I would come home real late, 3, 4 in the morning, and that Australian Open would be on at 3, 4 in the morning. So I'm live betting Andy Murray versus, whoever in the second round. It's a shame that we're not going to get tennis this year because that was supposed to be the savior sport.
Yo, true story. So, because some sites don't let you do this, but true story. I was on a heater 1 month, straight heater, nonstop. Like I was on fire. It was like 1:30 in the morning. There's really nothing much to bet on at like 1:30 in the morning other than tennis and Australian football. So I literally took a tennis play. I was so on fire. I was taking just tennis plays with Australian football, and I didn't even know how to bet Australian football.
Yeah, you were taking heat checks.
Heat checks, parlay, 2-game parlays, real quick. Hit them all, nonstop. I woke up the next day, all of them hit. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, this is great.
You were hitting even in your sleep.
Even in my sleep, I was hitting. The best thing ever for me, Marcus, Smack, and Cameron, I don't know if you guys can agree, is not March Madness, it's the Midnight Madness. You know how they do that whole 24-hour when the college basketball season starts?
When they do like all those like tournaments like in Hawaii and all those like invitationals.
Yes, and it's like a whole 24 hours of basketball.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm in heaven.
Yeah,
I'm in heaven.
Just the whole entire day, you got some sort of action going on.
I'm in heaven. But I mean, it is kind of messed up that these games are going to be pushed back. I hope these athletes can stay in shape. I hope they don't get hurt because they want to go out there and they want to win these gold medals, silver, bronze. They want to put on for their countries, honestly.
Yeah. Hopefully, and some of like you said, some of the older competitors that maybe this was their last Olympic that they were going to compete in. Hopefully, it just gets postponed and not canceled. So they get that opportunity to finish off how they want to on their terms. So a lot of different factors come into play with that.
Absolutely. Let me just finish this promo real quick. This part of the show is brought to you by ElCubanoSandwichShop.com. Use the promo code EAC and receive online discounts on delivery or pickup orders. Enjoy a cafe con leche or natural pre-workout or that Cuban coffee to start your day. The daily lunch specials and their steak sandwich is next level. Once again, use the promo code EAC. That's ElCubanoSandwichShop.com or 954-906-5110. Remember, use the promo code EAC. And that's ElCubanoSandwichShop.com in Coral Springs. They're open for deliveries or pick up curbside orders right now during this coronavirus pandemic. That pretty much concludes episode. We're on 22?
22.
Yes.
Yeah, 22. 22 episodes in. We're definitely going to go for episode 23 on Friday. We're going to do – hold on 1 second. We're going to do the next 5 teams on the over-under on Friday for sure, Cam. So let's try to keep track of the 10 teams that we've already discussed.
Yes. We'll make a list of those 10 teams. Man, I was very optimistic and generous today. I think I gave all overs for those 5 picks. I'm going to have to get realistic this next 5 picks on Friday.
And Marcus Mack, we appreciate you like always.
Yeah, and I apologize for getting here so late.
What are you talking about? Dude, listen, let me explain something to you. Look at me. I can hold this over all of you, okay? Just remember this. Cam has missed a couple shows. I had to do them by myself. You've been there. Now I get a little bragging rights because I'm the only one that's always been here.
You're the consistent glue factor.
Here's something that I need to know, though. When are we doing another review?
A review on what?
I would like to do a review on Roy Jones fights.
Ooh.
I don't know, just for the viewers.
Ooh. You know what? You know what we can do? Maybe we can do it like maybe we can do it on Friday's show. We'll finish Friday's show a little bit early, and then we'll probably finish Friday's show a little bit early, stay on this, and then all watch the same YouTube clip of Roy Jones, and then we'll all commentate on it.
Yeah, we definitely can. Because, I can pull it up and put it on the screen. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
So, guys, we really do appreciate you guys supporting us. Click like, subscribe on YouTube and on all podcast platforms. Hit the notification buttons to stay on top of all new episodes. And we'll see you guys episode 23. Appreciate it, guys. Have a good night.
Oh, sugar honey iced tea. It's the EAC Show.